the most tremendous new musical experience you can have.
Alright, what's up y'all, it's Logan, and I'm here to bring y'all this review to this newest Run the Jewels project, RTJ 4. Now, for those of y'all who don't know who Run the Jewels are, y'all been sleeping. It's Killer Mike and LP coming together as a hip-hop duo. They have 3 other projects, all called Run the Jewels 1, 2, 3, and now the 4th one. They have gotten a lot of praise. Every single project has been amazing. Honestly, all of them are about on the same par. It's been a while since I've listened to the other 3, so to rank them, I don't know. I know a lot of people say the second one's the best one, but I don't know. I love all 3 of them, and then even going into this one, I'll also go ahead and say I love this one as well. It's 11 songs, 39 minutes, and I mean that's a solid length. All of them are around that length of the 30 to 50 minute range. I think that's just a perfect length for the topics that they're covering. You know, it can't be much shorter because then you don't go in depth enough. You don't get enough from them, especially considering that they don't release something every single year. You know, the last one came out in like 2016 or 2017, so it's nice to get this one finally, and it's coming out at a perfect time with all the protests and stuff going on. In fact, recently Killer Mike made headlines with his speech that he gave to Atlanta regarding George Floyd. And if you have not listened to that speech, I highly recommend listening to it. It's motivational. It's saddening. I mean, it really helps you understand the situation more and makes you want to get up and do something. I've already given my spiel on all that, so I'm not going to go into that again. You all know my feelings on that. I just hope that you're all doing something. But again, listen to that speech because it will help you see things from a different perspective, maybe, if you don't see it from that perspective. But that being said, let's go into the pros of this one. So the pros, the lyrics. You know they're always coming with some kind of depth. Plenty of double entendres, jaw droppers, you know, some bar fests here and there, and then some ones that just make you think. You know, some ones where they're really spitting facts at you, and you have to go back and listen to it again, and then it might make you do some research. You might say, "Oh, let me look that up and educate myself a little bit more on that, other than just a rap bar." You know. Also, the flows are amazing. You know, they have great flows. They don't keep them too identical. They'll change them up. They'll fit it with the beat. They'll go fast. They'll slow it down. Their voices are really enjoyable. So, I mean, they can do any type of flow that they want to, and it's always enjoyable whenever they do that. The beats, plenty of old school, but also like some old school sounds mixed with the cleanliness of today's sound. Just a bunch of different mixes of sounds, really, that I really enjoy. It's all pretty much strict hip-hop sounds. They don't really infuse too much of jazz or anything like that, but it just allows for them to show the bars that they have, whether, again, it's the just very lyrical show-off bars, or if it's saying something, which more often than not it is them trying to say something. The length, again, is a positive. 40 minutes, very easy to sit through. Honestly, it could have been longer with everything that they were saying, but I'm glad that they didn't stretch it out, because every single song was great. And then the cover, such a good aesthetic. I like the cover. All the covers are very similar, but this one just has that extremely futuristic feel, even more futuristic than the last one where they had the gold hands. I mean, this one just, I don't know, it feels like it's out of a really high quality cartoon or anime or something like that. This is pretty cool, honestly. I like the color scheme on it. Now, if we're going to go through the cons, so we've been through the cons. That's all I had for the cons. I'll go through some tracks of note, some tracks that I really enjoyed, not just through the features, because really there's not enough noteworthy features to go through, so I'm just going to note the songs. So first off, Yankee and the Brave, that is the single from this tape, and also the intro track. This just brings us that classic Run the Jewels sound. It's a great way to intro us into it, where they go back and forth, a la Run DMC. You know, give them a couple bars, go to the next person, go back, forth, all that. some solid bars over a hard beat, really enjoyable track. That again, it gives you that classic sound that you're expecting from Run the Jewels. Ooh La La. This one has production by DJ Premier on it, and again, some great lyricism over a solid primo beat. This song is the only song where I really have any complaints, and that's just that the hook gets a little repetitive, where they're just saying ooh la la ah wee over and over. But I mean, it doesn't do it so much that it gets annoying to me. It just does get a little repetitive to where you notice you're like, okay, they could have done a little bit more with that. But I mean, it kind of adds to a glamour effect of it, like just the way it sounds and what they're saying. You know, that's stuff you would say whenever you're at a high-rated establishment or something like that. So it kind of adds to the overall effect of the song, I believe. But again, yeah, great lyricism and beat on that one. Same as the first song, honestly. Then comes Out of Sight with 2 Chainz on it. And on this one, the first verse is split between Mike and P, where they just do the same thing that they did on the first track. But then they each get their own verse, followed finally by a great 2 Chainz verse to end the track. And this beat was perfect for 2 Chainz, honestly. With it had that classic older southern trap sound, kind of, but it was mixed with some classic cuts, and some like old school sounds, like some 90s 80s sounds that just give it a very unique sound, but again, right in the wheelhouse of 2 Chainz, because it had that classic southern sound as well, like the 2000s southern trap. Thought that was a pretty solid track, and again, 2 Chainz gives us a great verse too. After that comes my favorite track, Walking in the Snow. This is going to be the one that I have the most to say about. So this song has a lot of social commentary, not only limited to this, but this is the main focal point of it. Talk about police brutality, the corrupt system that supports systemic racism, stuff like that. Of course, stuff that's at the forefront of the news right now, as it should be. But I'm going to just point out 2 specific sections that stick out here. First off, LP says, if even one scrap of what Jesus taught connected, you'd feel different. I love this bar because this is something that I've been saying recently and something I've been feeling. This just refers to the many Americans who point to Christianity as a justification for their political beliefs, whether they're right or left-winged. Now, obviously, this probably pertains more to the right wing. I'm just going to say that now. But it could be either side, honestly. Either side. The people who do that. But most of those people aren't Christian. They just claim that faith. They use that scripture to supplement their beliefs. Even if, if they actually read the scripture and read the Bible, they'd understand that stuff like racism, putting kids in cages, and so many other things are wrong. Again, that seems a little bit more targeted to the right wing. I just want to say myself, I'm kind of central leaning, so I'm not picking a side on here. Both sides are guilty, but it's just referring to a lot of people who use scripture, and again specifically the Bible, because America is a majority Christian. If we're going to talk about faiths, the people who use the Bible to justify hate, whenever Jesus never stood for that. The Bible never says you should hate somebody. It says love your neighbor and all of that. Second in this song, Mike, long bit from him, so just bear with me here. He says, they promise education, but really they give you test scores, and they predict in prison population by who's scoring the lowest, and usually the lowest scores the poorest. Usually the lowest scores are the poorest, and they look like me, and every day on evening news they feed you fear for free, and you're so numb you watch the cops choke out a man like me, until my voice goes from a shriek to whisper, I can't breathe, and you sit there in the house on a couch and watch it on TV. The most you give is a Twitter rant and call it a tragedy, but truly the travesty, you've been robbed of your empathy, replaced it with apathy. I wish I could magically fast forward to the future so that you can see it and see how effed up it'll be. I just think this is a very amazing commentary for today, where you get all these people posting on Twitter, just acting like they're so upset, but how many of those people are actually going to protest? How many of those people are actually trying to make a difference, having conversations, learning, educating themselves? No, a lot of those people are just saying, we need to do something. Black Lives Matter. Woo, I have done my virtue signaling for the week. No, you got to go out there and actually do something. Something that can incite true change. So I really appreciate that. That section of the song, and I appreciate this whole song. It's the best song on there. I very much enjoyed that track. And like I said, a lot of great social commentary. So after that comes Just, with Pharrell Williams and Zach De La Rocha. I hope I said that right, from Rage Against the Machine. And yeah, on this one they just call out the injustice of the elite and ruling class, kind of similar to the last track, but really focused more on like economic standings rather than the racial injustice. Of course, that still applies because, I mean, let's be real, one race just happens to have more money than most other races. I'm like middle class, I'd say. I don't know. So I'm not claiming I have more money, but I've never had to worry either. So again, you know, just recognizing your privilege there. Anyways, the line specifically here that I took away from was from Pharrell's hook, where he says, the 13th Amendment says that slavery is abolished. Look at all these slave masters posing on your dollars. You know, just looking at all the past presidents who owned slaves, many of them, that are on the currency that we use nowadays, and you're like, okay, so racism doesn't exist. You know, whenever these people, yes, they may have made some great changes for the country, but at the same time, they did some horrible things. So that was a very good point that I think a lot of people would probably find offensive, sure, you know, but who cares? Let's be totally realistic here. So yeah, that's all the tracks I wanted to go through. Overall, this is an amazing album. It is all I wanted and more. I have no complaints at all. Other than maybe wishing it was a little bit more focused than it already was. Again, there are some tracks where it just becomes a bar fest, which, again, all of them are great, and I very much enjoyed that, and I would have been almost disappointed if I hadn't gotten bar fest tracks. But that does limit my ability to give it like a 10 or something like that, you know? That's pretty much limited to overly focused albums. Again, like a To Pimp a Butterfly that has multiple messages, but the entire album is focused on that, whereas this one comes out of focus purposely and professionally, and no complaints about that at all. Just like I said, some songs don't add up to a message, which, again, is not what they were going for, so I'm not so much taking off from that as I am not able to give to it, you know? Kind of like I've said on a couple different albums so far this year. But at the end of the day, I love this album, and my rating, I am going with a 9 out of 10 Album of the Year contender. Personally, I think I'll be able to go back and say this is my favorite Run the Jewels tape. I loved every minute of it. I love every minute of all their music, but this one specifically stands out to me, especially with the timeliness of its release, and especially with the fact that it came out early. I thought that was awesome that it came out early. You know, it wasn't supposed to come out until today. Boom, drops on Wednesday. I thought that was cool. Definitely helped me just go ahead and get through it and review it. And I'm definitely going to be coming back to this one. Like I said, this one will probably make an end-of-the-year list. You can't get a 9 without making an end-of-the-year list. I mean, unless it's that good of a year. But amazing project. Really enjoyed it. I appreciate y'all watching this video. Make sure to hit the like button, comment, and sub. Hit the bell next to my name for notifications. Share this video so your friends can check it out. And I will hit y'all up next time.